So, as many of you have heard, this animal's large. This gives a sense of scale. The T-Rex itself is minuscule, almost, to the Giganotosaurus. It's almost the same size as a Bronto, which means that this is literally the apex predator of the island, in every sense of the word. We think even bosses will not be able to stand with this thing because as it gets hurt, it gets tougher, it hits harder, and the base damage of this thing is already 1,200. Now, that is enough to one-shot most animals on the island. Compared to my lovely T-Rex here, he puts her to shame, sadly. But now we're going to show you what this thing can do in the open field.
Yeah, I need a tribe invite.
Could you guys not hear me when I was in the base? Pretty sure I was muted.
No, look at you. Did you accept? And the old leader's back. Now, contrary to what we were led to believe about this animal in its dossier stating that it is sluggish in the wild, this thing is far from that. I will show you presently the speed at which this thing moves, which is next to exceptional. This is a moderately speed-tamed direwolf, and as you can see, it has absolutely no problems keeping up with me. Now, we were not expecting this, hence a lot of people are going to be screaming that this thing is way overpowered. In some regards I would agree, but, you know, the time it took us to tame this thing, a total of an hour and a half, using nothing but raw primes, and the fact that it consumed roughly about 900 narcotics, means that the investment into this animal is considerable, but the rewards are so worth it. Up ahead, I believe we may have a fight with some mammoths if they don't get killed by direwolves already, so let's speed ahead to help them. In one bite, this Giganosaur just killed a level 28 and a level 12 mammoth. Now these may not have been health tamed, but that is still a devastating amount of firepower for one hit. And the bigger improvement of this animal is that, yes, we all know that it hits extremely hard. There is one element that we've not talked about yet. It's punishment. This thing can withstand an unbelievable amount of punishment. Many of us believe that the Dodo Rex around Halloween had a lot of health. This thing is nearly on that level. This one, which we have not done much to in the day that we've had him, he is still at 115,000 health. We have not modified this in any way, and that is the same you'll find with every single level 1 Giga out there. Now, that being said, the amount he can soak up an enormous amount of punishment because of this. And also do remember that as he gets more angry, as he takes more damage from wherever he's fighting, he will grow tougher. Therefore he'll be more resistant to the damage that you'll gain. Now, when you are riding him, and when we eventually get a video when we do ride this animal, you will notice that it has a rage meter. As the animal gets damaged, that rage meter will fill up, and as it gets filled up, the animal will get tougher, stronger, and also its stamina will increase, so you can fight for longer periods of time. Now, letting it go to max is possibly the worst mistake you can ever make with a tamed animal. When it reaches maximum rage, it'll throw you off its saddle and promptly try to eat you and any friendlies in the area. As a precaution to this, as you saw, we built it to the giant metal cage, which eventually we do plan to get a second one of these and have a mated pair that will live in their permanent time, unless we take them out on PvP events or we take them out for general hunts like I am right now. One thing the Giganotosaur cannot stand is large rocks, and we will presently bust him out and then we'll be on our way. This being said, in the day that we've had him, well, the day and a half to be precise, he has not raged once, and we believe this is because literally nothing that we've encountered, including a skeletal alpha raptor that appeared on the beach and was probably eaten by this thing in 5 bites, cannot get it to the point where it is damaged enough to actually go full psycho. Now, that being said, on our server we do have some level 850 level Brontos. We took this thing to fight one of those recently, and my esteemed tribe member Esteban was killed in that fight merely because he was a little too low on his bird and was knocked off. But this thing simply demolished it, lost only 2,500 health, and proceeded to murder it in return. Now, we are very tempted to think, because one of our admins decided to spawn a level 120 Alpha T-Rex on our island as an attempt to keep us fearful and looking over our shoulder at all times. We would very much like to introduce this guy to that animal and see what the result would be, even though undoubtedly we would have to run away at the end of the fight and he would definitely go Psycho Rampage. We believe that he has a very strong chance of beating the Alpha T-Rex, merely because he does more damage per hit, and the fact that the more he gets damaged, the more Alpha is going to be in trouble. That being said, taming this guy, I've already mentioned narcotics to keep him asleep. This guy managed to absorb 50 tranq darts from a long rifle and about 75 crossbow bolts during our taming process, in which luckily he decided to pin himself between 2 rocks, and we managed to shoot him from the face from the safety of a Quetzal. Now, that being said, it still took us an hour and a half, which in our server means 2 to 3 days. One of the guys literally had to sit there on him and just watch his narcotic, because like the Mosasaur, if any of you tried to tame that thing, its torpor drops like a ton of bricks. Now, it is a monster, we've all discussed this, and in the game of ARK, some people will argue that this animal is broken, and in some regards I would agree with you. Especially when it comes to PvP, I would not be happy if I saw one of these walking at my base, because it can destroy stone without much problem. Hence why we originally designed its cage to be out of metal, and therefore the project was almost completed before this animal came into the game. Now, we're running out of things to say about this thing, but my last thoughts are, I really hope that this is the last big animal that they're going to add to ARK. There is really no more need for this thing, or anything like this besides the last boss that we've all heard about, to enter the game. Now, that being said, I love the animal. Almost all my tribe is in awe and at least fear of it, and I would hope to see your versions of your Giganotosaurs and see if you paint them. We've tried to paint this thing and it hasn't entirely succeeded, so we're hoping they patch that eventually, and we will see you all next time. Have a great day.